Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. The flock rundown. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of The Flock Rundown. We got a lot to talk about today. Is Kyle Hamilton playing injured? I have a few film examples that may suggest that he's playing through something. We're also going to talk a little Justin Tucker, but let's start with Shannon Sharpe and his outrageous Lamar Jackson takes or blame that he's putting on him. So he went on First Take yesterday. I'm not going to play the clip. You can look it up. I don't want to get copyrighted, but he basically was saying that Lamar's to blame. He's a two-time MVP. He needs to get it done in situations like this, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't even stressing that take. I mean, if you know me, you know I don't put much attention into the national media and what people are saying because I feel like they're not really that glued in. They're not watching the games like we are. And some people online started coming after Shannon Sharpe for his First Take. And then now he's on X today coming back at all of them, defending it and standing on his take, which I think is crazy. So let's just go through the whole story. At Realist tweeted, listening to Shannon Sharpe on with Stephen A. talking about the Ravens. He sounds like cable news host with their talking points. The Ravens have a new O-line, and Shannon expects Lamar to be like he was last year. They lost several players last year. And then Shannon responds, everyone lost players. Win, it's Lamar. Lose, it's O-line is awful. Play calling, coaching. He won MVP behind that O-line with that coach. We don't excuses. Thanks for watching. So then New Air Zach, shout out to New Air Zach, said he didn't win MVP with this O-line. How you an NFL expert don't know that we lost 3 starters? This line is terrible compared to last year. And this is the point that I'm about to make. But Shannon then says, was that the O-line that helped build a 10-point lead or no? And then at Thirst Round Pick says there are 3 new starters on the O-line. Shannon then responds, 3 new starters helped build a 10-point lead. Not one complaint when the Ravens were up 10 about the O-line. There's no way, man. We've been complaining about the O-line the entire offseason. I got 20 plus videos about it. Shannon Sharpe, feel free to go back through all the comments. I know you won't, but I'm just saying, go back through all the videos and comments. We've been talking about the O-line all offseason. The entire Ravens fan base has. All preseason long, we're like, this O-line looks rough, man. This is not good. Last week against the Chiefs, O-line issues. This week against the Raiders, O-line issues. Watch the tape. I mean, Lamar's handicapped. I think Lamar's playing great for the circumstances that are going on. He's playing really well. If we had a different quarterback back there, a less mobile quarterback, we'd be getting blown out, man. This is not on Lamar. I'm not saying Lamar deserves no blame ever. You know, I'm not going to defend Lamar to the death. If there's something that Lamar's doing that is deserving of criticism, then we can speak about it. But in this specific case, in this Raiders game, it's just not on Lamar. Lamar is way down the list of people that you should be targeting for blame. You know, I think it starts with the O-line, and then we can go to coaching. We could go to play calling. There's a lot of aspects. But just to get back to Shannon Sharpe point, the Ravens were complaining about this O-line the whole game, even when we were up 10. You know what I mean? Just because you get happy that Derrick Henry's got some runs and we get a 10-point lead doesn't mean that we aren't worried about the O-line. It's always been the O-line. It's not Lamar. It's not like the Ravens fan base when we were up 10 points was like, oh, we love this O-line, and then when we blow the lead, we're blaming the O-line. That's not the case at all. That's a lazy take. That's an unaware take. And I like Shannon Sharpe, man. He won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. He's been entertaining on TV. But this is a lazy take. So I want to call it out. I need to highlight these tweets. I need to highlight his First Take argument that this is Lamar's fault and that he needs to just overcome this. I mean, come on, man. There's really bad offensive line play in Baltimore right now. This is not on Lamar. Lamar's keeping us in these games. I mean, it could be way worse than this. If Lamar didn't have the ability to take off or just be so shifty in the pocket and kind of escape pressure, or be a threat that he is so that Derrick Henry's job gets a little bit easier. You can't just keep throwing blame on Lamar Jackson. I think that that's the laziest take. Is he a 2-time MVP? Yes. Did he do it behind this offensive line? Hell no. Like, what are you watching? That's what shows how unaware the national media is, man. Local media over national media all day. There's no way they can watch film of 32 teams and different games and know exactly what's going on with every team. I get it. But that's why I don't tune into that stuff that much. But this hit my feed on X, and I'm seeing Shannon Sharpe start to engage with Ravens fans and defend his stance that we're complaining after the loss about the O-line and we weren't complaining before, and that it should be Lamar's fault. It's just an idiotic take, man. I'm sorry. You got to watch the games. You got to know what's going on, or don't say anything. That's how I feel about it. I don't speak up about other teams. I'm not on here having strong takes about Caleb Williams or whoever, because I'm not that dialed in. I'm dialed in from a distance like an average football fan would be. But when it comes to the Ravens, we're dialed in. So I feel like we got to call it out when it needs to be called out. This is fair game. Shannon Sharpe is just absolutely wrong, man. Don't die on that hill. Don't go over into the Lamar blame game unless it's deserved. You know, if Lamar has an awful game, then I'm with you. I'll be right here too, being like, Lamar's got to play better. But that's not what's going on. If he had a bit more time, if Max Crosby wasn't coming untouched, if the play calling was smarter at the end of the game, you know, we should have been running at the end of the game. I don't think that we should be throwing. It's 1st and 10 with like 8 minutes left, and we're throwing the ball with a lead. Like, this is time to run, especially when we just established the run in the third quarter. Henry got going, especially running to the left side, outside runs. Keep that going. Why would you establish it in the third quarter and then start to want to pass, especially on 1st and 10? Let's just get some yards. You get sacked on 1st and 10. Now it's 2nd and 18, 2nd and 20. And now you can't really run, so you end up passing 3 straight times. It just doesn't make sense. At the end of the game with a lead, with Derrick Henry, especially after you got the run game going a little bit the quarter before, you should just be pounding the rock. Pounding the rock. It shouldn't even be in Lamar's hands. And Lamar didn't make a mistake. He was under pressure. He got sacked by Crosby. And even on a play where Lamar's not getting sacked, you can tell he's not trusting the timing. He's not trusting the line to formulate a pocket. He's not just able to stay in the pocket and go through his reads. It's not happening like that. He's looking a guy off, looking another guy off. Shoot, he's got to move, man. Now that crossing route's wide open, but he can't get back to him because he's under pressure. Like, these are the things that are going on, and then you just put it on Lamar is the laziest take I've ever seen in my life. But let's move on. That's enough of that. I was going through film yesterday, and I noticed a play where Kyle Hamilton missed a wide open tackle that he would make 10 out of 10 times, and then started holding his right shoulder right after. And you guys can judge for yourself. I'm not saying that Kyle Hamilton is dealing with anything specific. I don't know what it is. I don't have any insider information about what this injury is. I'm just watching the film. I know the Ravens. I know Kyle Hamilton, and this ain't him. He ain't missing tackles like this. And he's kind of picking and choosing his battles a lot more than he was last year. Last year, I feel like he would just run to the ball with his head on fire. And there is moments of that. Don't get me wrong. If you watch Kyle Hamilton that whole Raiders game, he does have a lot of flashes where he is being physical. But then there's these plays where he's avoiding contact. And then I see this missed tackle and holding the shoulder, and it just gets the wheels turning. Like, what's he dealing with? What's going on? Because he is holding back a tiny bit, and that's not Kyle Hamilton. And the last thing before we get out of here today, I just wanted to touch on Justin Tucker's long distance misses of late. I'm not super concerned about it. I'm putting my faith and trust in Tucker to figure it out. It's only 1 of 7 in the last 7. It's not like this is a huge sample size. So I think that there's plenty of time for him to correct this, and what better guy to correct it. But I saw an interesting stat today that I definitely wanted to point out. There's been 40, 50-plus yard field goals already this season, and only 4 misses. And Tucker's 2 of them. That's kind of a mind-blowing stat. That's basically saying that the whole league is crushing 50-plus yarders at an all-time accuracy. And then half the misses are Justin Tucker alone. And he is 1 for 7 in his last 7 from beyond 50. I think one of those was blocked. So there's obviously a lot of variables into each kick. You know, we're not dissecting each kick. There's probably wind on this one, or he slipped on this one, or that one was blocked. And there's a lot of variables. But regardless, we're not used to seeing Tucker miss 50-plus yarders. So I think it has the fan base a bit concerned and shocked that he is missing at this rate from long distance. And if it continues all year long, then I'm definitely going to be very concerned moving forward. But I just think Tucker is an extremely confident, strong-minded person and has been the greatest kicker we've ever seen on the football field, especially in clutch moments. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think that this is going to continue for long. He's getting plenty of leg on it. It's just fine-tuning the accuracy. He seems to be coming across and pulling it a little left every time, but he's not missing terribly. They're not shanked kicks like Jordan Stout with his punts. That's a whole different conversation. So I think Tucker's going to be fine. We'll see how it plays out. My opinion is always subject to change depending on new facts, new information, new results on the field. So we'll see how it goes. But that's it for today, guys. I appreciate you, as always, for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.